Shortly after Dante and Virgil leapt into the depths of hell to snuff out the root of all their problems, Nero would find himself with the call to action in the form of a random warpole materializing underneath him. For budget's sake, as well as the sake of my sanity, we are unable to provide the footage of this peculiar phenomenon. Upon reaching the other side of this warpole, he would find himself amidst a swarm of unknown hostiles, in an unknown land, in a body not completely of his own. But it harnessed the powers that were similar to the ones he possessed in Redgrave City. He reached to his back, finding a familiar hilting grasp, and with a smile, the battle began. Alright, exposition over. What we have today is a little roleplay build for Devil May Cry 5's badass hero Nero. This was hard for me to pull off, seeing as I had to find the closest weapons possible to match the aesthetic, but I think I pulled it off. Today's little build will use Excalibur as the frame, but we have a nice twist. The build is made as tanky as possible with plenty of strength to play with Furious Javelin, and even more armor coming from Warcry, which we placed firmly over Exalted Blade because we did not need it. I opted for Arcane Grace because it gives us that regen feel for being in Devil Trigger, which, further adds to the aesthetic. Slash Dash has that Nero Flourish vibe to it, but I barely ever really used it and I apologize for that. Radial Javelin can be however your brain wants to perceive it for fitting the aesthetic, but I consider it just him getting the Mirage Blade, so whatever. For our beloved Red Queen, we are using Galatine Prime with the build on screen now. Galatine boasts some nice stats while using the stance that gives us that DMC flow. Viral Heat takes advantage of the slash procs, and also kind of suits Red Queen's brilliance. Blue Rose was the toughest piece to encapsulate with this. So many options, kind of came close, but fall so short. Today's choice, the Zlock. The double barrels gives it some feel that holds true to the original, but obviously we can't counterfeit perfection. The build on screen is meant for Zlock's primary fire, but it can carry over to its incarnate, should you feel it necessary. And obviously I tried to get it as close as possible as looking nice and sleek like our baby. Now obviously Nero isn't complete without his trusty arms, but we can't really make an arm, so we gotta play around with the game's resources. So his arms are typically utility items in DMC5. Warframe has spear guns, which mainly we see their light in the form of buffs. Today we use the arm Tomboy, manifested by Scourge Prime. Now I would have used a Fentis, but sadly I just don't have it. Scourge Prime still gives us a decent feel to Tomboy because it auto headshots, and Tomboy allowed us to aim Blue Rose, so yeah. You don't have to use a companion since Nero did not have a pet, but I went ahead and used Nautilus for further utility purposes and because Nautilus is the GOAT! Today's build was made to encapsulate my enjoyment for the character Nero, and it didn't disappoint. Everything flowed so smoothly together and I felt great. Now, the whole loadout may seem very expensive, but I am sure you can find plenty of more available alternatives if you choose to try all of this out. Well, I can't think of much more to yap about to you all, so I'm going to end it here. Thanks for watching my ship post, and it's been Roleplay, and may you pull your devil trigger.